Are you concerned that homeless students at your school are not being heard? Wish you could create safe spaces where homeless students feel empowered to share their stories and have their voices valued and respected? Would you like to create a platform where homeless students can contribute to meaningful, relevant changes in the policies, practices, and programs of your school? Hello, I'm Kim Silva with the Homeless Education Services Program at the Kern County Superintendent Schools Office, and welcome to Amplify, the power of podcasting with homeless students. In this video, you will learn about the lasting impact of podcasting as a student voice strategy that can create positive change in the lives of students experiencing homelessness and the broader school community. But don't worry, I won't stop there. From equipment and software recommendation to tips for creating an engaging podcast, I will also introduce you to the steps and best practices necessary to kickstart your podcast project with your students today. I am proud to be part of the Kern County Office of Education's Homeless Education Services Program. Kern County is located in California's Central Valley. We're the third largest county in area in California, with over 200,000 children and youth in our schools. We also have the 10th largest homeless student population in California. Our program works closely with schools and communities to remove the unique barriers that our homeless students face when enrolling, attending, and succeeding in the school. We do this through leadership and training, creating awareness, providing practical assistance in the areas of school stability, student engagement, higher education, and of course, the best practice that I'm here to talk to you about today, student voice. Student voice is the heartbeat of so much of our work with homeless students here in Kern County. When young people are lifted up, we all rise together. And this is the greatest lesson we have learned from our podcast, Youth Voice Amplified. Created in 2022, Youth Voice Amplified is a youth-led podcast created and hosted by our program's peer support specialists, Janessa Fisher and Brian Johnson. Each month, they interview youth who've gone through adversities such as homelessness, foster care, having a disability, and being a teen parent. And listeners hear their stories of hope, strength, and resilience. The podcast's mission is to give every young person a platform to tell their story and create positive change around them. This podcast is open to anyone, but is of particular relevance to those in education and youth-serving organizations. Our hope is that listeners will hear our youth storytellers, learn from their firsthand experiences, and consider ways that they can implement changes to better meet the needs of students in similar circumstances. You can find the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts or by visiting www.kern.org/YVA. In today's training, I will draw upon our firsthand experiences and the valuable lessons we have learned from launching the Youth Voice Amplified podcast, along with current research and best practices in student voice, to ensure that you will understand the benefits of using podcasting as a student voice strategy for K-12 students who experience homelessness, learn practical steps to start podcasting with homeless students, including content development, equipment, software recommendations, and evaluation. Explore best practices for fostering student voice and engagement while working with homeless students with a focus on avoiding tokenism and adultism. And gain strategies to engage the school community, showcase student podcasts, and evaluate the impact of podcasting with students who experience homelessness. But before we dive in, let's clarify what we mean by student voice. It encompasses the intentional and purposeful practice of educators systematically eliciting student viewpoints on specific topics to drive improvement. By valuing students' experiences, opinions, and ideas across all aspects of school life, we can create environments that recognize and embrace the unique skills and perspectives of youth, leading to transformative changes in our schools and communities. Mitra and Gross illustrate the different levels of student involvement and voice in education in their pyramid of student voice. The pyramid represents the progression of student empowerment and emphasizes the importance of moving towards higher levels of student ownership and meaningful participation. At the base is being heard, where school personnel acknowledge that youth possess unique and valuable perspectives, and they engage students in activities. But students have limited decision-making power. This would include surveys, focus groups, and student forums where students share their thoughts. Next is collaborating with adults, encouraging students and staff to work together, taking joint action to improve their school environment. For example, students and teachers partner on creating new school initiatives or programs, such as organizing events or implementing sustainability projects. Building capacity for leadership and student ownership is the highest level, where students have agency and autonomy to shape their education based on their needs and interests. As an example of this level is students are given opportunities to lead projects or initiatives, such as organizing community service events or mentoring younger students. By embracing this framework, educators can create inclusive, student-centered learning environments that prioritize and amplify student voice. Systematically sharing leadership with students opens up opportunities for engaging disenfranchised youth and contributes to a more equitable education system. Student voice is a critical aspect of education. Research indicates that even students as young as 9 years old can provide valuable feedback on their education. Engaging in student voice activities has been linked to increased youth agency, self-esteem, belonging, competence, democratic skills, and leadership. These outcomes positively impact academic achievement, social and emotional learning, and overall well-being. Additionally, student voice activities can drive positive changes in education policies and practices, ensuring a more responsive and inclusive educational system. Student voice also plays a crucial role in empowering and supporting homeless students who are one of the most vulnerable academically at-risk groups in California schools. First, it gives these youth a sense of agency over their personal lives and educational futures. In the face of trauma and powerlessness, prioritizing empowerment and agency becomes essential for trauma-informed and equity-centered practices. Student voice plays a vital role in addressing the unique challenges faced by homeless students who have the highest absenteeism rate and the second highest dropout rates behind foster youth students. When students feel their voices are valued and heard, they are more likely to actively participate in their education, leading to improved attendance and higher graduation rates. Moreover, students' voice significantly impacts academic motivation. Studies have shown that students who believe they have a voice in school are 7 times more likely to be academically motivated. By fostering a sense of ownership and involvement in their learning, you can empower homeless students to overcome academic barriers and take charge of their education. But let's not forget an important aspect of student voice and its impact on equity. Without the voices of youth, school reform efforts are limited to an adult's understanding of what counts as equity. It is crucial to encourage and prioritize students' voice and choice, especially for those living with adversity, such as homelessness. Student voice holds the power to transform educational policies and practices. By amplifying the voices of homeless students, we enable positive changes that address their unique needs and experiences, fostering a more inclusive and supportive educational environment. When we actively involve students in decision-making processes, we can create policies and practices that truly reflect and support their growth and success. By empowering them and giving them control over matters that are relevant to their lives, we enable them to be active participants in shaping their education and fostering true equity. Elevating student voice. Why now? Well, right now is the golden age of student voice, an exciting time for student empowerment. With the rapid advancement of technology, our students now have access to powerful tools that amplify their voices, from social media platforms to digital communication tools. They can instantly share their thoughts, ideas, and experiences with the world. This unprecedented connectivity enables them to reach a wider audience and make their voices heard like never before. Today's students belong to the tech-savvy generations of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They have grown up immersed in advanced technologies, making them naturally drawn to multimedia forms of expression. Podcasts, videos, social media content, these mediums provide dynamic ways for students to express themselves, engage with others, and make an impact. Gen Z and Gen Alpha students have demonstrated a strong inclination also towards social justice and a desire to address societal issues. They possess a deep sense of empathy and a commitment to righting the wrongs they see in the world. Through their voices, they strive to advocate for equality and positive change. Our students are not just passive observers of school practices. They're actively taking note and seeking opportunities to have a say in shaping their education. Schools are recognizing the value of student voice now and the immense benefits it brings. Like you, they want to create safe spaces for students to share their perspectives, contribute ideas, and actively participate in the decision-making processes. For students to truly develop a voice, it's essential that we provide them with a multitude of opportunities to express themselves authentically. By encouraging them to share their experiences, opinions, and ideas, we not only build their confidence, but we also create a culture where expressing oneself becomes the norm. Multimedia provides students a lot of choices, each serving as a stepping stone towards unlocking their unique voices. One of the most familiar to us is social media. Social media has revolutionized student expression, allowing them to share thoughts, engage, and find like-minded communities on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. They can lead student-led awareness campaigns, amplify crucial issues, spark meaningful conversations with a wide audience. Vlogging is also a popular medium for students to authentically express themselves through diary-like videos, sharing thoughts, observations, and reflections. It enables them to document their journey, connect with viewers, and foster a sense of community through shared experiences. Photo voice, that combines images and narratives to advocate for change, as students capture participant-taken photos that convey their stories, experiences, and perspectives. By sharing these powerful visuals, they raise awareness, challenge stereotypes, and drive social change. Zines, or self-published mini magazines, offer an avenue for students to express themselves as well through creative and artistic means. And digital arts open up a world of creativity for students through animation, cartoons, and comics. And of course, there's podcasting. A podcast is an audio-based digital media format serving as the streaming age's answer to radio. The beauty of podcasts is that anyone can create them, including your students who are eager to share their perspectives with the world. Podcasts, they cover an incredibly diverse range of topics, from educational podcasts that delve into specific subjects, to entertaining shows that make us laugh, to news programs keeping us informed, and even storytelling podcasts that can transport us to different worlds. Podcasts also offer a rich variety of content formats. You'll find interviews with inspiring individuals, thought-provoking discussions on different subjects, captivating narratives that draw you into a story, and educational content that expands your knowledge and skills. There's really something for everyone. You can access podcasts through a variety of platforms. Podcasting apps like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music allow you to stream or download episodes directly to your device. You can also find podcasts on websites like YouTube, which offers both audio and visual formats. The choice is really yours. One of the fantastic features of podcasts is the ability to subscribe. Listeners can subscribe to their favorite podcasts, which enables them to receive automatic updates when new episodes are released. It's a convenient way to stay connected and never miss an episode. So now that you know what a podcast is, why should you podcast with students now? Podcasting has emerged as a dynamic medium for student voice. The podcasting audience is on the rise, with an impressive reach of approximately 100 million listeners in the United States alone. Over the past decade, awareness of podcasts among Americans aged 12 and above has skyrocketed, increasing by over 30%. And today, nearly 80% of Americans are aware of podcasts, highlighting the widespread acceptance and familiarity with this form of media. While podcasts appeal to people of all ages, it is the 12 to 34-year-olds who form the primary consumer group, but older generations are also tuning in. Podcasts offer a convenient and portable way to consume audio content. Listeners can enjoy podcasts using their smartphones, their tablets, and the computers, allowing them to access their favorite shows anytime, anywhere. One of the key advantages of podcasts is that the listener is not tied to the screen while enjoying the content. They can engage in various activities such as exercise, work, driving, or chores, all while immersed in the captivating audio storytelling. This multitasking ability adds value and convenience to the podcasting experience, which makes it so popular. They also offer accessibility, allowing individuals to explore a vast range of topics and interests. Podcasts have become a valuable source of up-to-date information and fresh perspectives. With podcasts, students can create content that contributes to their ongoing conversations about issues that matter most to them. For homeless students, podcasting offers them a unique platform to share their perspectives and have their voices heard. By using digital tools, you remove geographic constraints and create a space where every student, including homeless students, have the opportunity to share stories that may otherwise go unheard. It fosters inclusivity, giving them an equal chance to share their perspectives, insights, and stories regardless of their circumstances. Podcasting provides a space for creative storytelling, personal narratives, and meaningful discussions. For homeless students who may face barriers in traditional forms of communication, such as stigma, written essays, or public speaking, podcasting offers a medium where they can express themselves more comfortably with confidentiality. It encourages their creativity, enables personal storytelling, and opens doors to authentic and impactful conversations. One of the other incredible aspects of podcasting is its lasting impact. Once released, a podcast episode can be accessed at any time, allowing a wider audience to learn from the voices of homeless students. It extends the reach of their stories, experiences, and perspectives even beyond its initial release. Listeners can revisit episodes, share them with others, and engage in ongoing conversations that promote understanding and empathy. Now that we understand the importance of podcasting and supporting student voice, let's explore how you can start your own podcast with your students and provide them with a powerful platform to express themselves. It all starts with inviting your students to join the project. Recruiting students who have experienced homelessness to be part of a podcasting project requires a thoughtful and personalized approach. So before reaching out to students, make sure to define the purpose and intended outcomes of the podcasting project. Ensure that it aligns with the principles of student voice, equity, and promotes academic and socio-emotional development. This clarity will guide your recruitment efforts and demonstrate the value and impact of their participation. Collaboration with educational liaisons, social workers, and support staff is essential during this stage when identifying and reaching out to potential student participants. These professionals have existing relationships with homeless students and can provide valuable guidance and insights. By working together, you can ensure a respectful and effective recruitment process. When reaching out to homeless students, be sure to use personalized approaches that respect their privacy and confidentiality. Each student's situation is unique, and by understanding and honoring their individual needs, you create a safe, trusting environment where they can freely express themselves. Take time to explain the project, discuss the benefits of participating, communicate how their safety and privacy will be protected throughout the process, and address any concerns they may have. By providing a clear understanding of the project's value and addressing their questions, you can encourage their active involvement. To motivate or recognize the participation of students, consider offering incentives such as gift cards, extra credit in classes, certificates of participation, service hours, or letters of recommendation. These incentives can demonstrate appreciation and provide tangible rewards for their involvement, encouraging their commitment to the project. Building relationships with homeless students requires prioritizing trust, respect, and empathy. So it's important to take time to understand each student's unique circumstances, challenges, and aspirations. Avoid making promises that you cannot keep. And prioritize active listening. Recognize that the student is the expert in their own life. By listening more and talking less, you can create space for them to teach you, enriching your understanding and strengthening the partnership. Now let's shift focus to a critical aspect of student engagement empowerment. As you begin planning a podcast with students, it's essential to be mindful of potential pitfalls such as tokenism and adultism, ensuring that our efforts truly reflect the voices and experiences of homeless students. Tokenism involves the superficial inclusion of students without truly valuing their contribution. It's important to go beyond just mere appearances and ensure that your homeless students are genuinely valued and respected for their unique perspectives and experiences. Tokenism, also known as window dressing, may occur if the students in the podcast project are included solely for the purpose of showcasing diversity, marking off a box on a grant, or are only given superficial roles, such as brief appearances at a school event or limited speaking opportunities. So their voices are not truly heard or respected. Adultism can occur when adults dismiss or undermine the perspectives and opinions of homeless students because of their age, assuming that their voices are less valued or less valuable than those of adults. This can manifest through disregarding their ideas, excluding them from important decision-making, processes, or not giving them equal opportunities to share their experiences or contribute to the podcast. Recognizing and addressing adultism is crucial to ensure an inclusive and empowering environment for homeless students in the podcasting project. So as you move forward in your podcasting project, remain vigilant and ensure tokenism and adultism do not hinder the creation of an inclusive environment that generally values and respects student voices and agency. So building on a foundation of trust and collaboration with your students, let's talk now about the important first steps in planning a podcast. First, and most important, create a safe, inclusive environment with your students. You want them to feel comfortable sharing their perspectives and experiences, and you want to also foster trust and openness. By prioritizing their well-being and creating a supportive space, you will empower them to express themselves authentically. Next, define the purpose, the target audience, and the tone of the podcast with your students. Will it focus on personal stories, academic topics, community issues, or a combination of subjects? The students also need to consider how it will differentiate itself from other podcasts. What unique aspects will make it stand out? The podcast format and hosting style are also important considerations. Will it feature interview panel discussions, storytelling, or a combination of these elements? Additionally, will it have one or multiple hosts? These decisions shape the overall tone and dynamics of the podcast, creating a captivating listening experience. Then work with the students on writing a concise and engaging podcast description that conveys what the podcast is about and entice potential listeners. The podcast brand and identity should authentically reflect the student voice and essence. By creating a cohesive and authentic brand, your students can showcase the uniqueness of the podcast and establish a recognizable presence. And this includes a compelling name that captures the essence of the podcast and piques curiosity. Your branding also includes creating a striking logo that aligns with the podcast theme. By involving students in each of these important decision-making process, you will ensure their voices are heard and the podcast aligns with their interests and needs. When starting a podcast, there are several essential resources you will need. The two most basic components necessary to create a podcast are a microphone and a computer. The microphone is a crucial investment that directly impacts the quality of your podcast. We recommend that you choose a quality microphone as it will result in better sound and overall podcast quality. Good headphones are also important as they will allow you to hear every nuance of your podcast. Over-the-ear headphones in particular are recommended investment for their precision. Other optional equipment includes a pop filter in front that you would place in front of the mic to minimize plosive sounds. A boom arm or a mic stand to hold the mic in place, and an audio interface is important if you're using an XLR mic and you need to connect it to a computer to convert analog audio to digital. Along with these key resources, you also need software for recording and editing podcast episodes, such as Audacity, Adobe Audition, GarageBand, or Reaper. Additionally, a podcasting hosting platform like Buzzsprout, Podbean, or Anchor is essential for uploading and distributing your podcast to various directories, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts. There are also other important resources to consider beyond software and equipment. First, it's important to locate a suitable room or recording space that has good acoustic quality. You want soundproofing materials or recording in a quiet room can greatly enhance audio clarity. Additionally, you will need to provide your students with training on using the equipment, conducting interviews, storytelling, techniques with the microphone, recording etiquette, and editing basics, so they feel comfortable with podcasting. Next, utilize web-based graphic design tools like Canva or Adobe Express to create logos, artwork, and social media posts for your promotional materials and your social media posts. Music enhances your podcast, giving it a boost and a professional touch. Select royalty-free or public domain music for the podcast intro, outro, transitions, and sound effects to enhance the overall quality of your recording. It is important, though, to navigate music licenses and copyright laws to avoid any legal complications. Another vital resource is adding to your team a school social worker who can ensure a trauma-informed approach to podcast discussions and prioritize the well-being of your students on your team. Lastly, and the most limited resource of all, is time. Podcasting takes way more time than people expect. From start to finish of an episode, budget between 8 to 10 hours. Another consideration is the time commitment of the staff involved. Staff should commit to this project for at least 2 years, as homeless students who may be trauma survivors require predictable consistency from their adult supporters. When creating episode subjects with homeless students for your podcast, it's essential to involve them in the brainstorming process and ensure their voices are reflected in the content. Start by asking them to share their interests, experiences, and opinions to generate a list of relevant and engaging topics. Consider subjects like navigating school challenges, highlighting strengths and resilience of students, showcasing student achievements, or conducting student-led interviews with school and community leaders about policies and resources impacting homeless students. As you develop each podcast episode, create a plan that includes outlines, scripts, and talking points with your students. Throughout the process, encourage students to contribute ideas and shape the content to ensure it resonates with their unique experiences. You can utilize digital script writing tools like Google Doc or Microsoft Word, as well as planning tools like Trello or Asana to help organize episodes and stay on track with your student team. As students gain experience and skills, help promote their leadership by empowering them to take the lead in episode planning and scripting. Together, you can create meaningful, impactful podcast episodes that amplify the voices of homeless students. When podcasting with homeless students, consent, confidentiality, and safety are of utmost importance. It's crucial to obtain appropriate consent from both students and their guardians, adhering to relevant privacy regulations and school policies. Regular communication with students and their guardians is essential to address any concerns or questions related to privacy and consent. Open lines of communication should be maintained, allowing your students to withdraw consent or request modifications at any time if needed. Respecting their decisions and making necessary adjustments ensures that their comfort and safety throughout the podcast journey is a priority. The safety and well-being of homeless students should be prioritized, and explicit consent should be obtained for their participation in the project. Providing clear information about the purpose, the scope, The potential impact of sharing their experiences and perspectives through the podcast is essential. Clear guidelines should also be established for handling sensitive information, ensuring that only authorized individuals can access the recordings and any related materials. It's important to educate students and the podcast team about the importance of maintaining confidentiality and the potential consequences of breaching trust and violating privacy. Creating safe and confidential space for homeless students to share their stories should be a priority. So this can include incorporating trauma-informed care principles, such as using pseudonyms and giving students the final say in all audio recordings. Additionally, involving a school social worker or other mental health professional as part of the podcasting team is highly beneficial here. Their expertise can ensure that students have access to the necessary support and resources throughout the process. Collaborating with the school social worker to develop protocols for debriefing and providing emotional support to students during and after recording sessions further enhances the safety and well-being of your student team. When it comes to recording and editing podcast episodes with homeless students, it's important to practice the structure and format of the episodes together several times, especially in the beginning. Engage students in discussions about what types of questions they want to ask and how they want to interact with the guests. Guide and encourage students in articulating their thoughts clearly and conveying their intended message during the recording process. Additionally, teach them how to use the editing software to refine the recorded audio. This includes basic editing techniques like removing background noise, adjusting audio levels, and enhancing clarity to improve the overall quality of the recording. It's important to involve students' decision-making and creative choices during the editing process, empowering them to take leadership and ownership of their podcasts. If available, seek assistance from a professional editor or audio engineer to enhance the production value of the podcast and provide valuable learning opportunities for your students who are involved. You have your first podcast episode, and now your students are ready to share it with the world. When it comes to publishing and promoting your students' podcast episodes, you have several options. First, choose how and where you want the episodes to be published, whether it's uploading them to a website or a Google Drive. You can also consider using a podcast hosting platform such as Buzzsprout, Lisbon, or Anchor to upload and distribute the episodes to various podcast directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Next, develop a schedule with the students for releasing episodes, maintaining consistency so to engage the audience. You can choose to release episodes weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly based on your preference. It's also important to create a promotional strategy with students to share the podcast with their target audience, which may include school administrators, the school community, families, or the wider public. They can utilize social media platforms, school newsletters, websites, and other community networks to increase visibility and listenership. Additionally, consider reaching out to local media outlets like TV, radio, and newspapers with press releases to attract more attention. Other low-cost strategies you can use with your students is to establish an email list that you can promote the podcast to supporters or explore opportunities to interview well-known personalities in your community or appear as guests on other podcasts to expand your reach and engage new audiences. Last but not least is evaluation. As an adult supporter, you must monitor each student's growth in their podcasting skills. Have they developed new interviewing or storytelling or audio editing skills? Have they gained confidence, self-expression, or a sense of accomplishment through their involvement in your project? You can also help your students evaluate whether the episodes authentically reflect the experiences, challenges, and interests of homeless students. For example, are the episodes shedding light on important issues and provoking thought, discussions, and raising awareness among listeners? You can track episode metrics such as monthly downloads, unique page views, average listening time, and demographic listener data to provide your team valuable insights into listener engagement. Additionally, gather feedback from students, educators, parents, and community members through online surveys, podcast reviews, and online polls to help gauge the positive impact of the podcast on understanding, empathy, and attitudes towards homelessness. This feedback will inform future improvements and adjustments. By involving students in discussions based on evaluation outcomes and encouraging them to provide input and ideas for enhancing future episodes, you ensure their voices continue to shape and elevate the podcast experience. If you'd like to discover more about podcasting with students, visit www.kern.org/HIP to download our comprehensive guidebook, Amplify, Empowering Homeless Students' Voice Through Podcasting. This step-by-step resource covers everything from recruiting and training students to planning content, choosing equipment, editing, and promoting episodes, with practical tips, equipment recommendation, and sample documents. This guide will give you the confidence to start your own podcast, empower your students to share their voices with the world. Don't miss out on this valuable resource to unlock the power of student voice through podcasting. Now that we've explored the valuable resources available to help you start your own podcast, let me show you a great example of student-led podcasting in action with students from Enterprise Middle School in Washington.
But this was a pretty unique opportunity to just sit down with middle school students and ask them about the experience of being middle school students. And obviously, this is a pretty unique group with their ability to develop podcasts that I was on once, so I really want to see it in action.
Able to share my thoughts and opinions in a safe space, and it can be shared with the world without me thinking about all the negative things that can come from people talking, like, those types of things. So I feel really blessed to have a school that's very open and warming, and the podcasting group has been really nice to me.
And you have things you need that we don't always see. I will say, and I'm not just blowing hot air, you're in a really good school district.
He was kind of asking us, like, what could he do to improve schools in Washington State, and just kind of letting us be a part of the conversation instead of us kind of following what they wanted to say.
This video showcases how students can use podcasting as a platform to express their perspectives and engage in meaningful conversation with school leadership in a safe space to share their thoughts. Schools can also greatly benefit from homeless student podcasting in several ways from student-led podcasting. First, it allows teachers and school staff to develop empathy and gain a deeper understanding of the challenges and strengths of homeless students. By listening to podcast recordings that showcase diverse student experiences, educators can grow both personally and professionally, strengthening their ability to create inclusive and equitable learning environments. Moreover, student voice podcasting promotes student agency and a sense of belonging, fostering an environment where all students, including those who are homeless, feel valued and empowered to contribute to the school community. The authentic voices shared through podcasts have the power to drive change and influence educational policies, ensuring that the needs of homeless students are better addressed. Additionally, podcasts have the potential to raise awareness about homelessness, challenge misconceptions, and foster support for homeless students, ultimately promoting equity and inclusion within the school and beyond. Your students will also benefit from podcasting in more ways than expected. Engaging in podcasting projects can create a profound sense of belonging among students who are experiencing homelessness, as they become part of a supportive community where their voices are truly valued. As they become part of a supportive community, it connects them with peers, teachers, and potentially a wider audience, fostering meaningful connections and opportunities for collaboration. Podcasting offers homeless students a creative and alternative mode of expression, making their learning experiences more enjoyable and meaningful. This increased engagement positively impacts their academic performance and overall school experience. Furthermore, podcasting teaches students essential 21st century skills such as public speaking, storytelling, interviewing, writing, audio editing, and project management. These skills are not only valuable for their educational journey, but are also transferable to future opportunities in their careers and personal development. So as we near the end of this video, I'd like to share some valuable lessons we have learned from working on our podcasting journey with youth with lived experience in homelessness. The most important lesson is to start small, making projects and mini projects attainable to build confidence and momentum in their podcasting endeavors. We recommend beginning with 30-second individual audio pieces, allowing your students to practice their recording and storytelling skills. Then gradually increase the complexity and scope of the assignments and tailor to fit each student's abilities and their available resources. It helps them gain proficiency before taking on more extensive projects. It is crucial to offer all your students a range of roles and opportunities, such as hosting, interviewing, scripting, editing, or managing social media. You want to ensure that every student has a meaningful experience in the podcast. If you have, for example, students who enjoy art or draw, ask them to design your logo or pick the colors for your branding. If you have students who enjoy music or are musicians, have them either produce or narrow down what music to use for the podcast. Additionally, we have learned the importance of being flexible when working with students who have experienced homelessness and other traumas. Homeless students may have unique circumstances and barriers to participating fully. So be sure to provide flexible scheduling for podcasting sessions, help with transportation, make sure that they have access to the necessary equipment and resources in order to participate fully. Another lesson we've learned is the significance of designating a student voice champion on your staff. This individual serves as an advocate for the voices and needs of the homeless students on your team throughout the podcasting process, ensuring that their perspectives are valued and represented. And finally, relax. Remind yourself and your students that you do not need to be experts in all aspects of podcasting. More importantly, encourage your students to learn from their mistakes, ask for help, and take creative chances. We have a saying at Youth Voice Amplified: you got to be a disaster before you become a master. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to podcasting. So be sure to emphasize the importance of creativity, adaptability, and finding their unique voice and style within the podcasting world. If you are interested in learning more about podcasting and student voice for homeless students, but you don't know where to start, our student voice website, SAY, Schools Amplifying Youth Voice, is your go-to resource. We have a collection of resources, including guides, templates, and training videos in these subjects you see on the screen to jumpstart your student voice work. Visit www.kern.org/HIP to access these valuable resources and unlock the full potential of student voice in your schools. Thank you for joining me today and being a part of this important conversation about how each of us can uplift the voices of homeless students. I hope you found this presentation about podcasting as a powerful student voice strategy valuable and insightful. Remember, you're not alone in this journey, and we are here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions or need further assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, Kim Silva, at 661-636-4900 or by email at kisilva@kern.org. Your dedication and commitment to our students is truly appreciated. On behalf of everyone here at the Kern County Superintendent Schools Office, thank you for everything you do for our students, and happy podcasting.